Hello guys, welcome to Talking News. Chasing an Error, please subscribe, like right now so you don't forget. And I hope you guys had an amazing holiday, Christmas and New Year. And I hope that your New Year is going to be amazing. Right now we're going to be covering this story. It's coming out of Portland. I've done one video on it already. So it's Portland, Oregon. So it's in a rural area. And in the middle of nowhere, basically, in Oregon. So December 22nd of 2019, a young lady and her boyfriend are out visiting a friend, according to her mother, Misty. Allyson Watterson and Benjamin Garland. But something went horribly wrong, and Allyson Watterson went missing. And from the very beginning of the story, things didn't add up, things didn't make sense, and we were told that the two were out hiking and they become separated and got lost. Every media source out there was covering the fact that these two were hiking on December 22nd, and when they become separated, he went for help. So where she went missing is in the North Plains area, and it is very dense forest type environment with very large trees and a lot of brushes. And as the story broke, a lot of people were confused what was really going on, because the Washington County sheriffs and investigators, they were putting out information that just didn't make sense, and it really wasn't. What they were putting out to the public wasn't able to help in any way. So let's go over what happened on December 22nd of what we know right now, and that can change, and it might not even be correct, guys. So this young couple, we hear from Misty, the mother, that they are visiting a friend. And we've heard several different stories that at some point the car broke down, is what we've heard from Misty, the mother. And somehow Allyson got in contact with her mother, but she only has a Wi-Fi phone. And it's at that point that they become separated. And the reason why they are separated is we're hearing that he said that he went to find help. That kind of contradicts some of the information that I'm finding out there right now. And some of that information is on December 22nd. First, let me make sure I cover this. On December 22nd, that morning, there is a witness that said that they saw Allyson and Garland together that morning. So this is right before noon. According to what we know right now, Allyson was wearing an orange-yellow hooded sweatshirt. She was wearing black jeans and had on a red backpack. She was also wearing brown Calvin Klein boots. We heard several descriptions of her hair, but what we're hearing the latest is that she had natural brown hair color. But we were told at the beginning of this that her hair might have been teal. She has blue eyes, and she's approximately 5'7", as well as around 120 pounds. We are told that Allyson sports 2 tattoos. One of those tattoos is an eye on her front left shoulder. And then there's another one of a fairy sitting on a spider web on her left forearm. Now, we got hints from the media that investigators were looking for somebody that had a knock on a door very late, December 22nd, or very early morning, December 23rd. So it was approximately around about 12 a.m. on December 23rd. But really, we didn't get any more information on that. It wasn't until about a week later, it's clearly after Christmas and New Year's, that we found out a little bit more information what that was about. So according to detectives and investigators, are saying that somebody reported getting a knock on the door around that time. And police, thought perhaps whoever heard a knock on a door might have a tip that can help them figure out this investigation. I mean, they might not even realize that they might know something. Now, I've heard, but I've not been able to confirm, that there might be somebody that did come forward and was able to give a little information about a knock on a door. Now, because the story is such a wreck and a mess, I've never seen such a mess, I don't know which direction to take you guys. But first, I want to tell you guys that the boyfriend was somehow found by a neighbor, and he was sleeping inside a truck. Some sources say that it was the owner's truck. The owner found him sleeping in his truck on his property, whereas other stories are saying that this truck was stolen and police found the vehicle nearby his location. And I'm speaking about the boyfriend, Garland. Of course, in other stories, they're not saying how Garland was connected with the stolen truck, so we don't have solid information of how he is linked to this truck. Anyways, what we're hearing is the next day, Garland called his father, and his father come out to the area to help search for the missing Allyson Waters. It's not until late that evening that they decide to call the police and report her missing. Now, during this time, Misty, the mother of Allyson Waters, is texting Allyson's friend saying that she hadn't made it home. Misty also said that Allyson told her on a messenger app Sunday that she'd be home later that night. And so this really made her start to kind of panic. So on Monday morning, she said, quote, "I woke up from work Monday morning and I immediately started messaging her friends. Hey, have you seen Allyson? She was supposed to come home last night and she didn't." But there is a problem with everything that investigators have to go on. The mom said that the pair got separated after they had gone for help, but Van Cleef has said that authorities don't have evidence of that scenario either. So they don't have evidence of them hiking. They don't have evidence of a car being broken down. And he says, quote, "We don't know what they were doing out there," he said. "We certainly don't have a broken down car," end quote. And it's enough to make you scratch your head and say, that's definite. I mean, this story is a complete wreck. But anyways, it was later, December 23rd, that Allyson Waters' boyfriend, Garland, was arrested. But he was arrested on charges not related to her case. So it's very interesting. And let me remind you guys that I am having audio issues today. So if you hear it kind of fading in and out. So what was he arrested for? Well, apparently, so he appears in court the first time, and the boyfriend, Benjamin Garland, this was on Thursday, for charges unrelated to Allyson's being missing. So Garland pleaded not guilty in a Washington County court to charges of theft, fraudulent use of a credit card, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and possession of a stolen vehicle. But January 3rd, approximately, he returned to court and where they added a few more charges. I'm sorry, guys, I forgot to mention a few more charges. So he was also charged with unlawful use of a weapon, assault, and firearm probation, and this was from 2017. All right, now let's go to the new charges. So what I've got here is not going to help much more. So it says that Benjamin Garland, the boyfriend of the missing 20-year-old Allyson Watterson, made a second court appearance in Washington County Friday, facing additional charges, but still unrelated to her disappearance. So we're not sure exactly what that is, but something is very strange on this case. What do you think? So you have this girl. She's out there with a boy that seems to have some major problems with crime, theft. I mean, this is not good, what this boy's being charged with. We're being told that either a car broke down, and this is by the mother, and there's a few texts out there. Let me show them to you. I'm not certain if these are reliable or not, but I'd like to share it so that people who research a story later can see what all the speculations were versus the truth. Okay, guys, so now you can see this is some text that is out there. Supposedly this is text for people who are out there searching or involved with this case in somehow. I'm not going to say how. So he stole a car, wrecked it, and left it in the woods to go get help. He's covered in scratches. So this is kind of interesting. You know, a lot of people from all walks of life, from different areas, are all trying to figure out what the heck is truly going on with this case. Some people are saying that, you know, there's a possibility they were out there for no good, and this is why the family's hiding it or whatever. So I can't back that up at all, but I can share what we are hearing. Now, one thing we did learn is the family had volunteer searchers out there trying to help locate the missing girl. But after a few searches, I mean, they searched with helicopter, drones, everything. I mean, they went on foot. They covered a huge area. The searchers pulled out and said, we're not going to search anymore because, you know, we don't have anything to point us in any type of direction, and we do not want to use up our resources on something, you know, that they can't say is for sure evidence or information or clues. They just don't want to waste resources. That's their words, not mine. And so it was after Christmas that the family decided that they were going to do, I think it was actually January 3rd, in fact, they were going to set up their own search groups and search every property that the property owners would allow them to search. Guys, I've been sick too, so I'm not thinking real clear. So if it's not that great of a video this time, I apologize. So on January 3rd, we did also find out, we got actually a picture of the stolen truck or the truck involved with this case. So here it is. They also put out a little bit more of a timeline. So they say Sunday 12/22, Allyson was last seen. If you saw a red 2001 Ford F-150 between Sunday afternoon and Monday night of 12/23. They ask for witnesses to call the police or Crime Stoppers, and please let them know what you've seen. Anything matters in this. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that the smallest thing means a world to investigators. But I'm telling you guys, it is driving me crazy, the fact that they won't tell us how that truck is connected to this guy. Police also encourage that people, there is an iPhone that was given to Allyson Watterson. And they are encouraging the person that gave her that phone to come forward. So that's really kind of curious. You know, somebody that give her this phone, how would they be connected in this? Share below if you think you have an idea. So right now, we have this very young couple that was supposed to have an innocent visit with a friend in the middle of nowhere. Somehow they end up separated. She ends up missing. There's some knocks at a door. People say that they heard her at night. We don't know if that's legitimately connected to this case or not. We have a man that I forgot to mention that I'm going to share with you. where a witness says and describes what Benjamin Garland was like. And let me share that with you. And this is after, they find him sleeping in a truck. So, according to Fox 12, Garland was arrested on Monday after he was found near the search area in another man's truck. He was soaking wet from head to toe, and he was kind of in a bad way. So I gave him a ride home to his parents' house in Hillsboro, and didn't really think anything of it. Until today when I saw the people out there searching for the young girl that's missing, Ralph Medica told the station. So it's very interesting, we're hearing all of these things, but we're not hearing the investigators that are our lead on this really kind of supporting any of this that we're hearing from witnesses. They're just really just kind of sending out a bunch of junk, which is very concerning. Now, I found it interesting that he didn't say investigators talked to him about this. So I hope that he was able to give that information to them. Most likely he did later. So the boy didn't tell him. That's what I'm wondering, if this girl was missing. That's what it seems like. And he went to his father's house. That's kind of odd, isn't it? Or his parents' house. And then he says what we're hearing, according to him, is they went back out and searched for her. And it's later that his father decides to call the police and report her missing. I know at sometime during, in between all that, Misty doesn't even realize her daughter's missing. This is where you hear about that 30 hours delay, and that is the most critical time when somebody's going missing. So there's this huge window. 30 hours is what they're guessing from the time she goes missing till the time she's reported missing. So, and then they end up arresting him sometime later that evening, linked to a stolen truck. But we have a witness that says, they seen him sleeping in his truck, so they take him and drop him off at his parents' house. This just doesn't make sense. And it's kind of hard for the public to help when the public really doesn't know what's going on. So I'm guessing that her parents know a lot more, and they have that to go on maybe. So I want to share a few clips of the parents speaking on, this case.
Allyson was last seen near Old Pumpkin Ridge Road on December 22nd. At the time, she was with her boyfriend, Benjamin Garland. It's still unclear what they were doing in the area. Investigators say her disappearance wasn't reported until 30 hours after she was last seen. Search and rescue looked for 5 days and scoured about 1,600 acres. And on Saturday, they suspended their search.
Their efforts were amazing, but I still don't have my daughter. So as parents, we have to know that we're doing everything we can.
Washington County Sheriff's Office is still investigating. Deputies say they did track down the person who gave Allison's mom the phone that she gave to Allyson, and they are looking into it.
I keep going for her. She gives me the strength and the hope and the love to keep this going.
So that's what a normal mother would do. I mean, definitely, if you have those searchers pull out, which we were all kind of shocked that they did that, a good parent's going to do everything they can to try to find their child. And also in this clip, they mentioned that they did find the person that gave Allyson that phone. It's very curious what that phone's role is in this case. Anyways, here's another clip.
One of the notable things in this case is how stoic both her mother and father have been. They've been very open with the media and, of course, at times emotional, but both very strong. And they are saying that they are going to do whatever it takes to bring their daughter home. The search for Allyson Watterson has been called off.
Well, it was like being pushed off a cliff, Of course, I want her found, and I was willing to sit there forever.
Misty Watterson said Friday, December 20th was the last time she saw her daughter.
She said, Mom, I'm going to go out with some friends. Awesome. Have fun. We love you.
The following Sunday, Allyson told her mom she was with her boyfriend, Benjamin Garland, and said she'd be home soon.
Yeah, Mom, I'll be home tonight. I love you so much. That was the last I've heard from her.
That's a bit interesting because we heard that she said that at one point the car was broke down, so I don't know. They're hiding it for some reason, and that reason's unknown. But here's the rest of that clip.
Police say someone who lives near Pumpkin Ridge Road saw Allyson and Garland in the area on Sunday afternoon. Monday morning, another resident found Garland sleeping in a truck on private property. Around 5:30 that afternoon, Garland's father reported Allyson missing. Garland is in Washington County Jail on several charges unrelated to Allyson's disappearance. Misty says she's talked to Garland from jail and has been in close contact with his parents, but that's not what she wants to focus on.
This was literally taking like a week before the last time I saw her, so.
She and Allyson's father have printed thousands of flyers and say they've been posted in the surrounding counties, along the Oregon coast, and even in California along I-5.
Call it in anonymously. You don't have to say your name. They don't have to know who you are.
They're pleading with anyone who knows where Allyson is to help bring her home.
Why would you not say something? How could you not? How could you not?
Her father very emotional tonight, saying that is his baby girl, his only daughter. So the sheriff's office did suspend the search because they had exhausted all leads, but they will pick it back up, they say, if they find more clues. Now, as for those flyers, if you want another look, you can go to coin.com. I want to mention that Allyson, the last time that she was seen, she did have natural brown hair. There's been some pictures where she's had different color hair, but her mother says she had natural brown hair.
So in the end, what this video is for is to kind of grab people's attention. You know, a lot of people like to have story in order to be intrigued or interested in the story. That's what I'm trying to do with this, is just grab people's attention so that we can spread awareness and maybe get someone that might have some answers to help this family out. Now, this story is a bit of a mess. We don't know where it's going. We can't even guess. It really doesn't make sense. And what worries me most, if he's telling the truth and they got separated, perhaps maybe somebody, you know, got a hold of her, or she could have gotten hurt. So it really makes it hard to search for somebody you don't know what happened to them. You know, if they got lost, then you know to search for them. If they were abducted, well, you don't have any clues or any information that points to that, so it makes it difficult if that was to happen. Makes it very hard to know where to start. If she was hurt, well, I guess, you know, that can run along the lines of searching for somebody that got lost, you know, because she's out there in the middle of nowhere. All I hope for is they do find answers, and hopefully somebody knows something and will come forward. This is just horrible. And we want to know what happened to Allyson Watterson. We have to know what happened to her. So if you live out in that area or not that far and you have time to volunteer to help this family try to locate her, please volunteer. The only other thing I can think of is the fact maybe he's trying to hide something. Maybe, you know, there's mentioning a stolen truck. Were they doing something they weren't supposed to? Will that get him in more trouble if he says something? So hopefully investigators realize that and are able to make him a little bit more comfortable in order to, you know, talk. But I don't know what he's saying. None of us do. Perhaps maybe Misty does. And she's out there looking, so maybe she's just out there lost. And guys, I want to make sure that you guys realize that there was another case that I was covering and I haven't had time to update that. And that's on Peyton Houston, right? You know, she's the one that was kind of like the Savannah Spurlock case. We found out that they found her remains in a shallow grave in a home that, you know, it was abandoned. No one that was living there at the time. I'm wondering how the police were able to find that property. But they found her. And guys, please, if you have older daughters, speak to them. Share this channel as well, because this channel is about bringing awareness to women need to, you know that they are being hunted out there and being taken advantage of. I mean, if you are, I'm guessing she must have been buying something from them. There was something going on with those two guys. I think she made some kind of deal and it went wrong. Do not sacrifice yourself for anything. Come on, ladies. You are buying things, say on Let It Go, or do not meet with people or leave with people you don't know. Again, this could have been prevented. This is, I mean, this was a hard case for me to look over again, because all I could see was Savannah's story all over again. And guys, I know y'all are used to me being on top of all this, but after the holidays, and I was getting sick as well, and I just didn't feel like doing it. In fact, I'm pushing to get this one out today. And I just felt bad, because I just want to make sure that we are at least documenting and making sure that the cases like Allyson Watterson and Peyton Houston are all getting the spotlight they deserve. Now, we all realize that police probably know a little bit more on this story with Allyson, and they're not wanting to sacrifice the case, and that's understandable. But hopefully they don't ever make that mistake to where they're putting out too much bogus information. In the end, it just ends up hurting the case. And I hope that family never gives up looking for her. It seems that they're not going to. And I just wish I was a little bit closer. I would have loved to help try to locate that Allyson for them and with them. She's got to be out there somewhere. And hopefully soon they get those answers. Guys, this isn't probably one of my best videos I've ever made, and I couldn't think too well. And I hope all of you had a wonderful holiday and a Merry Christmas. I miss you guys. Just give me a little bit of time to bounce back. And I'm going to go ahead and end it right here. But what I want to do is end it with a little bit of a slideshow of pictures of Allyson Watterson, guys. So, love you guys. See you guys soon.